Welcome back everybody. So in today's video we will be going through the process of creating Windows virtual machine in Google Cloud Platform. I will also be showing you how you can connect to your instance from your local environment using remote desktop client. So let's get to it. Alright, so like I mentioned in today's video, we will be going through the process of creating Windows virtual machine in GCP environment, and I'll also be showing you how you can connect from your local environment to your instance using remote desktop client. I'm on macOS environment, so stick to the end of this video and I will be showing you which is the best remote desktop client to use to connect to your Windows machine running on GCP. Alright, so let's get to it. So to create your VM instance for Windows, all you have to do is log into your GCP account and go to, so once you log into your GCP account, and if you don't have one, just go ahead and create one. I think you do get free credit for 1 year. And so once you have your account created, it will be looking similar to this, and all you have to do is go to this navigation menu section here, and you will see some of the products here. So as you can see, I have pinned a number of products, and you can do that, but if you don't see it, you can go to the solutions, I believe, and products, and you can scroll down right here. And also you can go, you can go into these categories and choose which service you want to use. In our case, we'll be going with compute, so you can choose that and go to compute engine. I have found that that might be a bit hectic to use, so you can pin it once you get the service. For example, I've pinned cloud storage here, and I also have pinned compute engine. So you can do something similar. You can pin the services that you frequently use, and they will show here so that you can easily access them. You can also go to the search section up here and search for compute engine. Okay, so compute engine is the service I will be using today to create our VM instance. So just open it from the search section here, and it will bring you to this section. So whichever way you use to go to the service, it doesn't matter, it will bring you to the same place. Okay, so once you do that, this is the dashboard for your compute engine, and from here, this is where now we can create our VM instance. Remember, all the VM instances that you create in GCP, you have to use compute engine. Okay, once you're here now to create your Windows virtual machine, all you have to do is go to this section here where it says create instance. You can also use the button down here, create instance. So whichever one you use, the outcome is the same. Okay, so I'm just going to click this, create instance, and as you can see here now, this is the page where you can configure your machine. All right, so we will put the name of our Windows here. So I'm just going to call this one Windows RDP. You can name it, and you can put any name that you like. You can also choose the region here. For by default, it's selecting US Central 1 for me. If you're in a different location, you can, or if you want to use a different location, you can choose it from the list here. And then if there's a specific zone that you want to put, you can also put it here, but I'm just going to leave this one as it is, so it can choose any zone. And then when you scroll down here for the general purpose, so this one is the type of the machine that you want to choose, right? So we have several options here. So we have, if you want to choose a machine that has more compute, you can go to this section. If you want more memory, you can also choose from memory optimized, storage optimized, and if you're doing machine learning, I think you might have to use the GPUs for the machine type. So I'm just doing it for the demo, so I'm just going to go to the general purpose, and I will choose this one that's pre-selected, E2. So this one is a low cost, and I'm going to go with that. Okay, you scroll down here, this one comes with 1 to 2 virtual CPU, because this one E2 medium, this is medium that's selected here. If you want a smaller one, you can choose it from here, so you can choose the micro one. I'm just going to go with the medium one anyway, because I'm going to delete it, but if you want the smaller one, be free to select from these options. So I'll leave this one as it is, and if you go to advanced configurations, you can select additional options here. I'm not going to do that, So notice if you have used this platform before, everything was in the same page. You could scroll down all the way to the bottom. So I think they keep changing the UI. Google keep changing it. So you can see now for additional configuration, you see it's showing on the left side right here. So we are not done yet. So just take a note that if your interface looks like mine, you might be tempted to create to hit create here, but you still have more configurations here on the left side. So we have finished with the machine configuration. So the next thing that we need to do now is go to the OS and storage, and this is important because this is where we choose our image. Okay, so by default, a GCP pre-selects for you the image as Debian, but we are creating Windows machine in this video, so we have to change this. Okay, so to do that, just hit here where it says change, and go to the operating system here, and just hit there, and you will see a number of operating systems here. So the one that we want to choose is this one for Windows Server. So this is the one that we select. And for the version, we have several versions for Windows Server. The one that we want to choose is the one with the desktop experience. So as you can see here, you have two options here. One with just a server core and one with desktop experience. So we want to choose the one with the desktop because we want to see the Windows desktop. If you choose only the server, you will not see the desktop. So and you'll not enjoy the desktop experience if you do that. So if whichever one you like. For me, I'm going to go with the desktop one. But if you just want the server, then you can choose the second one here. All right, so I'm going to select that. And I will leave the size to be 50 GB, so that's fine. You can also choose additional options here if you want. For example, the encryption and all, you can do that. So I'm just going to leave everything as it is, and I will hit select right here. Okay, so our image now has been selected for Windows Server, and you can now apply additional configurations here. For example, if you want to deploy a container to this instance, you can go ahead and do that. So if you have the image and everything, you can select this from here. So I don't have any of this, so I'll leave this one as it is. I'm not going to choose any additional options here. Okay, so we are done with OS and storage now, and the next thing that we need to do is to configure the network. So I'm going to select networking here, and in networking you can choose to allow, for the firewall, you can choose to allow traffic, HTTP traffic, and all of this. I'm not going to do anything here, so I'm just going to let this one be as it is, and we will go now to observability right here. Okay, I will not choose anything here either, and we will go to security. So to security, you can see the service account that is associated to this VM is this one. So by default, you get the compute engine service account. So I'm fine with that. I will let that one be as it is. And the access scopes, I will not modify anything here. Just leave the defaults in place. And then I think that is it for this section here. I'm not going to add anything else. Let's see what error we have here. Okay, so in the advanced section here, we have manage tags. You can do that. And here, what is it complaining about? So it's saying, is E2 instances require spot provisioning model to terminate your VM? Okay, so let's do that. So what happens when, so we need to specify this. When, if you're using a spot instance, what happens when it's terminated? So let's see if, so VM runs for any duration you set. What is it here? Okay, VM instances require. Okay, so terminate VM instance. Okay, where is this error coming from? E2 instances require spot provisioning model to terminate your VM on host. Okay, so I have said, okay, I think we can just choose to terminate this. Okay, I think we can choose to terminate. I think this is a warning. I don't think it's an error, but it's just letting you know which what happens if you are if your instance either is terminated or migrated. So I'm just going to say you can choose whichever one you like. Yeah, it seems like they want you to select this one to migrate. So um I mean, I'm okay with if you, I mean, I think this is actually important, right? If you're using it in production environment, then you might want to choose migrate so that they can migrate it to another VM instance. So let's actually choose that. But if you want to go with this one, then you can choose it for termination. All right, so I'll choose to migrate. Um, okay, and I think everything else is good. So I'm just going to hit here, create now, because we have gone through all of the options that we have in order to create our VM. So we'll go ahead and hit create, and this will start creating our VM machine. So this should not take long. I think it's going to create, and so let's let it run, and once it's up, we will proceed from there. Okay, so you can see now that it is done, and that didn't take very long. So our Windows VM now has been created. All right, so you can go inside your VM, and you can see some of the options and configurations that are available for you. Okay. All right. So now that we have our Windows VM created, how do we connect to it? So this is now where the RDP client comes into the picture. So RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol, and it's basically a client that you can use in your local machine to use your Windows VM. Okay, so it's a client that lets you run your Windows environment that is installed in cloud environment. So if you have, for example, we have created Windows VM within GCP, we will not be able to use it directly from here. So you do need a remote desktop client in order to launch your Windows PC. All right, so let's go ahead now and connect to our VM machine. So again, I'm using Mac, so just go ahead and hit here where it says download. So go ahead and download this RDP. So it's going to download this RDP for you, and all you have to do is just hit it, and you can see now that we have downloaded this client file. We don't have the app created or installed in our local environment. So let's go ahead and go to App Store and see which app is best fitted for us. So you can see now when you come to the App Store, Apple App Store, we have a number of RDPs that you can use. For this case, the best app that we are going to use is this one for Windows app. Okay, so this was previously it previously used to be called Remote Desktop. So this is the one that we'll be using to connect to our desktop. So we'll go ahead and install this. You can see some of the other ones are available, but they are you have to pay for them. So you can try them. I've never used them, but this Windows app should work very well for you. So we'll go ahead and open this. So Windows app now is the RDP that we'll be using on Mac. So we have downloaded it now, and as you can see, it's nothing is here, right? So there are two ways of doing this. You can directly, now that you've downloaded it, you can launch that client again. So let's go back to that section. So if you go to downloads, now that you've launched it, you can just go directly and launch it. Now that you've downloaded the app, right? So it's now going to detect that we have a remote desktop client, and it's going to use it. Okay, so you can see it's trying to launch your app, but it's not able to connect, right? And the reason for this is because our firewall is closed. Okay, so we will now go ahead and set a firewall. So go to firewall or just type network in the search bar here, and you will see these several options. So VPC network firewall is the one that we're looking for. So we'll just open this one here, and this is where you set your firewall rules. So if you've never used it before, this will probably be empty. But I have done, I have the settings that I've put in place before, but you can see that we don't have 143389 for RDP. So we do need to create a firewall for that. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to hit here where it says create firewall rule. So we'll do that. And I will name this one allow RDP for the name. And you can put a description. I will leave this one for the logs off. and the network I will leave it be default, and the priority also be default. But you can see here, you can set the priority anywhere between 0 to 65, 535. So I'll leave this one is within this range, so I'm okay with that. The traffic that we are creating for is ingress, right? Because we want traffic to come from external um, um, sources coming to our machine in GCP. So this is ingress. And then for the targets, I'm going to choose here allow instances in the network, only all networks in the network, right? So I'm just going to choose that. And then for the source, we will be using IP4 ranges, right? So there are several other options here that you can choose. You can choose service account, source tags, IP4 ranges, IP6 ranges. For me, I will use the IP address because I want to use the IP address for my local machine to connect to the Windows environment. And this is where now you put your IP address. So you can choose this one here. You can put 000, this one first one here, right? This one 000/0. So this will allow everybody in the internet to connect to your machine. So if anybody from anywhere in the world can connect to this environment if they have access to the IP address. So if that's what you want, you can do that. In my case, I don't want to do that, so I just want to allow traffic from my local machine. And to do that, we don't see anything here, right? So if again you have worked with in AWS environment, you get my IP, which will automatically detect the IP address for your machine. In our case, we don't have that in place for GCP, so you do need to go and get your external IP address for your machine. And to do that, you can go to this. You can type what is my IP, right? So if you go to Google and just type what's my IP, it's you will see you will see this one here. What is my IP? Best way to check your public IP address. So just click that and you will get your IP address. So in this case, this is mine right here, showing here my public IP4 address. So all you have to do is just copy that. I'm just going to copy this, right? And I will now go ahead and bring it to right here. I'm going to paste it right here. And you do need to put now the range, and for my case I'll put range 32. You can also, you can try, if 32 is not working for you, you can try 24, 20. So just try whichever one works for you. So for me, 32 works. All right, so that is my external IP address, and I am putting it here. So what I'm basically saying here is I want only traffic from my local machine to come to this environment. Okay, again, if you want to allow everybody in the world, then you can choose the 000 thing. If there are specific IP addresses that you want to whitelist so that they can connect to your machine, then you can put them right here. Okay, so and then now down here, we want to allow, if you hit allow all, then that's going to allow everything. But for the specified ports, in this case, I'm just going to allow TCP for port 3389. I only want to open the Windows VM machine port. Okay, so, and that's it. So just go ahead and hit create. So that will create your firewall now, and you should be able to now to launch your VM instance from RDP. So let's go ahead again and try that. So you can see now that we are able to connect. So it's working now, and it's asking us for the credentials. All right, so what is the credentials now? Okay, so we should now go ahead and get our password and username. So to do that, just go back to the VM instance, and to get your username and password, because you need that in order to connect to your machine, just hit here the name for the Windows or the VM machine. Just click it, and you will see this option here for set Windows password. So just go ahead and do that. And by default, if you have Google account, the username will be your address without that Gmail. So I'm just going to copy that, and I will actually put it somewhere here. Okay, and then so I'm going to do set here, and you can choose another name if you want, right? I think that should work, but I'm just going to use this one that's been provided for me. And then for the new Windows password, we have been provided with this one here. So just copy this, and I will also put this one right here. Okay, and just say close on this. All right, so those are the information now that we'll be using to connect to our RDP right here. Okay, so now this is the RDP client, and by default again it has recognized our username, so all we have to do is just enter the name, sorry, enter the password for that. So I'm going to copy the password, and we will enter it right here. There we go. Okay, so you can see here now you're connecting to RDP host, and this is fine, so we'll hit continue. Okay, so this should now launch your PC, and it's doing that for us. All right, so there we go. So now our Windows PC is now creating the profile. So this might take a few minutes because it has to create the profiles and everything. But now you are able to successfully connect to your Windows PC using the remote desktop client. Again, the RDP that we used is Windows app, and you can get that one directly from App Store. If you go to App Store, if you want to download it before you create your VM instance, then you can do that. So you can just go to your App Store and look for Windows app, and now it shows as open for me, which means it's installed. If you don't have it installed, just go ahead and install it, and you can install it ahead of time before you create your VM instance. So this is a remote desktop client that you will use if you are using a Windows operating system that is not if you're using operating system that's not Windows. If you're in Windows, again, I think the client that you use is remote desktop connection. So you can just go to your search in Windows and look for RDP. I think if this is how your Windows looks like, right, I believe you can look for remote desktop. I don't know if this is going to be showing here. Remote desktop, like that. Okay, so just search for remote desktop in your Windows and you will see it. Okay, so this is now our Windows, and it is booting up. So you can just let it run, and it will take a few minutes to set everything up, and once all is good, then you can start using it. So I also want to show you another way of creating a connection to your VM machine using this Windows app RDP. I'm going to close this one, and let's launch Windows app again. So you can see now we directly launch it from the file, right, that we downloaded. But if you close the Windows app, you will see that we don't have our connection here created. So it's not going to persist. If you want to persist it on your RDP client, you will need to come here, just launch the app here, and then go to this add. You see this add icon here. If you hit that, you will see three options right here. The one that you want to choose is this one for add pieces, so go ahead and do that. And right here now you need to enter your IP address. So we need to grab our IP address for our VM machine, and this will be the external one. So we'll copy the external IP there, and then we will put it right here, and then just add. Okay, so once you add now, then your machine is saved, and from here you can go ahead and connect to it. So you just need to enter the username. Okay, so just the username right here, and then the password also as well. Okay, so we'll just enter the password also. Okay, and just put it right here, and then connect to it, and there we go. Okay, so this will now launch your Windows PC, and if you close the it will do the same thing, right? So it will just go ahead and launch our PC, and from here you can start using your machine. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the internals of using Windows here, but you can start using the machine to whichever use case you have. For example, you can open the Windows, the Cloud Shell. You have Cloud Shell here created. You also have Microsoft Edge here as the browser that comes with default for you, but you can use it to download Chrome. If you have any preferred browser, you can go ahead and use that. So I'm not going to go into that, but you can see that your Windows is working properly now. So you can go ahead and start using the environment. from here. Alright guys, that's all I had for you in this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give thumbs up to the video and also subscribe to the channel if you have not, so that you can stay updated for our next videos. Alright, see you next time. Bye bye.